wanted to thank each of you who have been praying for my mom, who was rushed to the hospital today, and she's got sepsis, and so her whole body's fighting this massive infection. And I was talking to my dad on the way to the hospital while he was driving there in California, and I read him a blog that I had recently written of my experience swimming with the manta rays a couple days ago, and he asked if I would record this with some ukulele music for Mom to encourage her. And so I wanted to thank the Delovios for helping me do this, because I don't know how to play the ukulele yet. And this is not just for my mom, this is for anybody who's facing down a really big circumstance right now and needs to be reminded of how big your God is. Psalm 119, Psalm 19, 1 through 4. The heavens proclaim the glory of God. The skies display his craftsmanship. Day after day they continue to speak. Night after night they make him known. They speak without a sound or word, their voice never heard. Yet their message has gone throughout the earth, and their words to all the world. Last night I had a very important conversation with God. No words were exchanged, and yet much was communicated from his heart to mine, and vice versa. Some friends of ours from Seattle, Ryan and Maya Ring, invited my oldest son Elijah and I to join them for a swim with the manta rays off the Kona coast last night. Game for an adventure, I found myself at the front of a catamaran along with 20 or so others, soaking in the bigness of the Big Island. In front of me was the vast blue of the Pacific Ocean, and behind me the grand view of Hawaii and Mauna Loa and Mauna Kea rising up to kiss the sky. It was dusk, and the sky was beginning to clear after a thunder and lightning storm had made its presence known. As the boat made its way to the diving point, I was overwhelmed with the expanse of the beauty all around me. In front of me, the setting sun had fun with the clouds, as if an artist was flinging his palette of colors across a blank canvas. Golds and yellows and oranges turned to pinks, reds, and purples before my eyes. Behind me, the setting sun decided to highlight one of the day's most unexpected surprises. Snow. Yes, there was snow at the peak of Mauna Kea. That storm had passed through had not only brought a lot of noise and light, but also a drop in temperature, allowing for this year's first snow on the highest elevations of the island. I knew that snow was one of the unique characteristics that set this island apart from all the others, but I hadn't seen it with my own eyes since I lived here as a keiki. In this moment, to see it like this, from the ocean, with the sun shining upon its white luminescence, it took my breath away. It was like that moment almost 17 and a half years ago when Cindy came around the corner in her wedding dress, and my eyes beheld my bride for the first time in all her glory. David observed something similar as he continued to soak in all of God's creation around him. He said, God has made a home in the heavens for the sun. It bursts forth like a radiant bridegroom after his wedding. It rejoices like a great athlete eager to run the race. Psalm 19, 4 through 5. When 30 minutes later we arrived at our dive destination, I was happy whether or not I got to see a manta ray up close. Perhaps due to the storm, the plankton was not as plentiful enough to lure very many manta rays to venture out underneath our underwater lights. But I saw enough of them to understand immediately why these majestic creatures were dubbed the angels of the sea. After 45 minutes of soaking in the underwater wonders, the boat captain turned on the light atop the mast to signal the group's return to the boat. It was as if the captain of my soul was using all of creation to do the same thing with me. He was calling me back to himself. For a few minutes, I waded in the water by myself as I waited for the rest of the group to climb back on board the boat. I looked off to the horizon as the storm was now sitting over the island of Maui. The lightning flashes in the distance almost seemed to keep time with the up and down rhythm of the ocean I was floating in. In the almost surreal stillness of that moment, I was reminded of how truly big my God is. Every lightning flash served as an exclamation point on this one often forgotten and yet unchangeable reality. God is in control. In the wake of my grandma Joy's death a few days ago, in the mourning of my own soul, God is in control. In the frustration of needing to continue to work for Starbucks when I just want to give my time to pastoring a growing church, God is in control. In the newness of our life here in Hawaii and all the transition over the last couple months, God is in control. With my mom in the hospital right now fighting an infection in her whole body. God is in control. With your marriage on the brink of divorce, God is in control. With your relationship with your son or your daughter, God is in control. With your finances, God is in control. With your future, God is in control. It all hit me in that moment. And then God, who is controlling the storm over Maui, the sun on Mauna Kea, and the manta rays below me, was not overwhelmed by my circumstances. In that moment, I felt so small in the vastness of the ocean around me and the stars above me. In my smallness, I remembered the greatness, grandness, awesomeness, and largeness of my God, and I knew I had nothing to fear. The God who was controlling all of this around me simultaneously was also holding me. It wasn't until I returned to shore that I found out that a new storm could become Hurricane Ana by Wednesday and hit the Big Island by Sunday. This is especially concerning to the people of Pahoa who are still recovering from Hurricane Iselle and watching a lava flow that is seemingly fixed on their eventual destruction. I want to invite you to join with me in prayer and all these other things, but also over the Big Island and its people, praying to a big God, big prayers. This is not too big for Him. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your prayers. Whatever you're facing that seems way too big for you, it's not too big for Him. God bless. Love you, Mom.